Okay, in this lesson, we are going to be looking at various text formats. So they help update and make different text styling just by using HTML and just by updating the tags. Commonly used are the strong or the bold. So this is indicated with the B or with the strong. And there's also the italic or the emphasized. So I and EM. And then the content between the tags is what gets the styling applied. Let's take a quick look at the Mozilla Developer Network. Here's an example of strong being applied. Basically, it bolds the text that's within the paragraph and makes it stand out from the rest of the content. So when we look at bold with a B versus strong, oftentimes it's confusing because it looks the same. So strong is an element for content that is of a greater importance, where B is used to draw attention to the text without indicating that it's more important. So if you do have more important text, then use strong as opposed to B, because B is just going to be drawing attention to that text. And also important to note that older browsers actually underline strong. So some of the older browsers that might not be updated might also underline that strong. So for the most part, most commonly, you're going to be using strong over the B tag. There's also I and emphasized. So you see it's kind of italicized on an angle for the text that's included within the I tags. EM is used to stress emphasis, whereas I is used to display the text in italics. So once again, the difference that we saw between strong and bold, we see the same thing between I and EM, that they're both going to look the same, but EM is used to stress emphasis, whereas italics is just styling and styling the content in a different format. There's also mark to indicate relevance. There's cite to mark the name of a work. And there's a few other examples that we'll quickly look at in this lesson. So there is an exercise as well for this lesson, and that's to update some of the text content using some of these formats that we've covered. So definitely try out the strong and the bold, the italic and the emphasized, and then check out typewriter, source code, cite, address, del, inserted, subscript, subscript, small, and big to get a feel for what all of these different tags can do to the text and how it's going to make it look different. So pause the video here, try some of these, and I'll walk you through it coming up. So let's wrap the word strong with the strong tags. And then we'll also compare it to what bold looks like. So versus and then bold. And most commonly now web developers are just using strong because bold doesn't carry the same emphasis on it. And when we look at it typically on a page, it's going to look the same. And this is going to be the same thing for the italic and the emphasis. So commonly we're using emphasis versus the italic text. And when you're just looking at it on the page, it does look the same, but as we saw, it does carry different context for those tags. Let's try a few other ones. So down here at the bottom, we can remove out all of this excess content from the previous lesson. And let's try the typewriter text. So we see it is slightly different. So I'll do normal to typewriter. We'll also do normal to, there's also one for the source code. So update TT to code. And with HTML, the styling will be applied to the content between the tags. And then altogether, that's the element itself. And I'll just add in some line breaks so we can distinguish between the two. And let's take another line and we'll try cite. And commonly used, of course, for citing. And it's also slightly italicized. So some of them do look very similar when you just look at it within the web page without seeing the source code. There's also address. And this one actually starts it on a new line. So some of them will have additional styling that's attached to it. Let's do another one where we've got the normal content. And this one's going to be for deleted text. So we do have a line through. And we still have some spacing from the address just above that. There's INS for inserted text. So that one comes with a line underneath. There's also underlined text, so it's just a U. Again, looks very similar to the inserted, but I do suggest that you do use the right syntax, the right for the text structure. There's also sub, and that moves the text slightly down. There's sup, moves the text slightly up off the normal level. There's also small, which is going to make the text smaller than normal. And then big, which is obviously going to do the opposite, where it's going to make the text bigger than average text. So do try it out, have some fun with it, and check out all of the different text formats that are available with HTML.